I'm Miss USA 2024, Alma Cooper, and you're listening to me on the Chanel in the City podcast with Chanel Omari on the iHeartRadio.
Everyone, welcome back to another episode of Chanel in the City on iHeartRadio. I'm your girl, Chanel Omari, and we have what a special treat and a special guest. I'm a lucky girl today. I have been such a fan of the Miss USA pageants and competition. It's one of the most watched shows, television shows in history in the world. And here to welcome, we have Miss Michigan, who just got crowned Miss USA, representing all women, all little girls all over the world. I'm going to get teary-eyed. Help us welcome our dear friend, Alma Cooper, Miss USA 2024. Congratulations. How are you?
Thank you so much. I'm doing so well. Today has been such a beautiful day already, just sharing bits and pieces of last night and how I felt, and just so many things going through my mind, but all so positive and just so grateful.
We are so happy for you. First of all, what a movement in women history. Take us a little bit about, for those of who haven't tuned in yet, take us through last night, like some of the highlight moments and how you were feeling.
I would say a major highlight for me was the amount of diversity that was on stage, just seeing so much representation for so many young girls who are looking at that stage and hoping to see someone who looks like them doing a dream that they may own, they may have themselves. Truly showing that representation matters, for one, but two, not only do these stories deserve to be up here, but they belong here. And I think that I've never truly been in a space that has been so warm and beautiful and welcoming and united amongst so many beautiful women. I mean, there just was so much unity on that stage, just supporting one another and rooting for one another, looking out in the crowd and seeing each other as moms, brothers, sisters, aunts, and uncles, and knowing that each person on that stage has a unique story that's beautiful and dedicated to a cause and passion that they are all passionate about. So to me, that is definitely a highlight. I also want to speak to the amount of gratitude I have to the mentors, professors, and the outpouring of support from people that are in the Army, people who I'm in my scholarship program with at Stanford. The love that I have received is so overwhelming and so beautiful. And it speaks to just the whole message that I really want to get at this year, which is this moment in this year is bigger than myself. And that is where my heart and my mind are at the forefront of, is serving others, because I know that my role as Miss USA is truly an extension of my service in uniform.
I love that. That's so beautifully said. That, I want to get into that a little bit, because a lot of people stereotype, or sometimes there's a negative stigma. They don't understand how hard you all work, to whether achieving the win or the crown, but also to just, it's beyond you, it's beyond the message. Did you think you were going to win last night? I mean, because no one knows, right? So did you have a feeling? Like, how does it go, the process usually? Take us through the process.
Every time they announced my name at a cut, I was genuinely shocked, because everything goes by so fast. I mean, I remember walking off stage in opening number and getting ready to announce the top 20. And I just thought, even if this is my last time on the stage tonight, what a ride this has been. And it's not even over yet. I still would have continued as Miss Michigan and been able to serve the state of Michigan in every capacity that I possibly could, which is working in the realm of food insecurity and providing healthy and nutritious foods for every single person who needs access to fresh produce in their homes. To me, that is a key point in what I want to do as Miss USA. But I think that, every time I stepped on that stage, I just tried to have the mentality that if this was my last time, I want to just put it all out there and leave nothing left in the tank, just give it all I had. But genuinely, I can't even speak to the amount of joy I had every single time another young woman's name was announced, because that's someone else's dream that's still continuing, that's still alive, and that there are young girls who are looking at them from maybe their hometown or their home state. We're like, oh my gosh, I see Iowa, I see Colorado, maybe I can be like them when I'm older. And that just in and of itself is just, I think, such a powerful message. Women supporting women. I think that is something that needs to continue in this year and into years to come. I think on social media, there's so many things that often divide us. And I am here to use my platform to be a beacon of hope, to be a beacon of unity, to be a connector across this country, because I think that's what truly matters.
Amen to that, because that is true. We have to continue this supporting women, the
Mhm.
genuine aspect of it, but also, standing by your message and explaining why this is so important, right? Like why we
Mhm.
need you to be Miss USA. There is more than just a crown and the
Yes.
vanity of it or the superficiality. There's more to it. Take
Yes.
us through through the process, what makes you win, or how do you get to a certain stage? Like I guess, what makes you Miss USA, right? Like, how do they
Yes. So
decide?
there are a couple of phases of competition. One is interview with the judges. And that I think is just the time to show who you are. I mean, the one thing that made every single one of us unique is that each of us are our own individual person, and we bring to the stage so many unique qualities that only we can truly represent about ourselves. So that the interview room is definitely the time to share those bits and pieces. On stage, you see swimwear and evening gown, and that was done during the preliminary competition with all 51 delegates. And then on finals, that's where the top 20 are picked based off of the preliminary competition as well as the interview. And on that 20, you do a swimwear competition, which is so crazy to me because I felt like, every time you look at a camera, it's not just a red light that's recording for your VCR at home. It's for national television. So
Right.
that definitely came through my mind a couple of times, but was still so exhilarating. And then from there, they cut it down to 10. You do evening gown, and then from 10, you go to 5, and that's when you do the final question, and then they crown whoever's going to be Miss USA.
And that's according to the judges. It's not the public,
Correct.
correct? So,
Correct.
wow. And then you had the host, Garcelle from Housewives of Beverly Hills,
Yes.
who's also
Mhm.
been crowned and as well as in the pageants her whole life, and an actress. How did that feel to have
I
her there?
mean, it was so surreal. It's like when you're growing up, you watch these amazing, incredible celebrities host the show, and
Yeah.
they keep you on the edge of your toe, like the edge of your seat. You're just like, oh my goodness, who's gonna win? You're picking your like top 20 each time there's a commercial break. And then to be there and standing next to them and to answer a final question next to them, I just go back to watching young women like Olivia Culpo, Olivia Jordan, Deshauna Barber go through that same moment and have an impact on so many people like myself. And I just hope that whatever I said could hopefully have an impact on at least one person out watching at home.
I love that. Talk to us a little bit about the competition. I know that in every industry, I know I'm a comic and a host, but everyone experiences a lot of competition in their industry, and people always ask me, how do I cope? And we leave it up to the celebrity guests that come on, to tell us, how do you cope with that? So I'm sure there was so much competition. There is sometimes cattiness. How do you not let the hate and the noise get in the way?
I knew that going into Miss USA, I wasn't competing against 50 other delegates. I was competing right in between my ears. And that's my mentality going in. It's that this is not an outcome-based success. Whether I walked away with the crown or not, success can still be defined as success because my message is to uplift other people. Success is not when you cross the finish line, it's when you bring others with you to cross alongside you. And that's exactly what I plan to do with this platform, whether I won or not. That was the goal. And so now being in this position with this platform, I think that is the key message to me. And that really was my mentality from day one. When I won Miss Michigan USA, I knew that this was bigger than myself and that what my journey was going to be would be what I made of it. And if I were to make this journey solely about the glitz and the glamour and being on stage, then it would not be used to the most beneficial for every single person I could possibly impact. So to me, I'm just so, so grateful. And I know that with a servant heart and a willingness to be a leader and a transformational one, that I hope to have a large impact across the globe.
Oh, man, that's amazing. Let's take it back to Miss Michigan, because you've been through this for a long time before Miss USA. What made you want to get into pageants?
I had always watched pageants like it was the Super Bowl in my home. I mean, with bowls of popcorn and it being on every screen in the house, it was the one thing in our household that we all marked the calendar for. And I remember hearing my mom, just growing up, always just telling me about when she was younger, she competed in the Miss America system and she couldn't afford her pageant fees. And so she taught dance lessons at a dance studio to help fund her pageant fees. And to me, I just was so inspired by the fact that my mother was compelled to share her story and be a representative for her hometown, while also being someone who was so dedicated to service as well. So when I grew up watching the pageants, I saw young women who emulated intelligence, integrity, who had amazing work ethics and wanted to make a really large impact on so many people. And I said, you know what? Maybe one day I want to see myself on that stage and hopefully get the chance to compete for the Miss USA title. And that truly is how all of this came about. It's just watching it, being inspired by women in my own life, and hoping to be an example for so many others out there.
How many pageants do you have to go into or to compete in until you win the Miss Michigan, right? But then until you guys will get
Yes.
submitted to Miss USA.
Yes. So you can win a preliminary competition in your hometown or in your region of your state. And then from there, you go and compete at the state level to become a delegate for the Miss USA competition.
Amazing. And so what does Miss USA mean to you? I love how you said it's more, when you were talking about your mission statement and your message, what was going on before that? What was inspiring you to say, you know what, I do, because I agree with you. I do want to work on healthy produce in people's homes. You know, we work with City Harvest, and it's important whether you're homeless, whatever income you have, to always be exposed to nutritious stuff, because that is what makes a world healthier.
Yes.
So I just want to know
Yes.
what does Miss USA mean to you, and what went into your speech and plan? This is so fascinating. I love it.
Well, I think that when I think about Miss USA, I think about my experience with people like Miss Minnesota this week. I mean, instantly we just clicked off the bat. We walked into the hotel, ran into each other. We're like, oh my gosh, we stand next to each other in line. We're gonna be going through rehearsals all the times together. When we walk out, we'll always be next to each other. And that to us just gave us so much comfort. And it's the fact that 51 women stood alongside each other in unity for what we can bring to hopefully our home states and to young women watching across the globe. And the fact that, hopefully bringing people an idea of unity and hope and being a beacon of hope for other people. And hope is addictive. So, I mean, being a catalyst for change and for good is at the forefront of my heart. And knowing that I get to use this platform with service at the core of my message, that to me is going to make this experience worthwhile, because it's not it's not about the glitz and the glam. To me, it's about making change and being a force for good, because I truly want to share that coming from humble beginnings, that no matter what your circumstances are, they never define your destiny. And that if you can see me, you can be me.
Wow, I love that. Talking about seeing you and being you, diversity. Talk to the audience a little bit about your background, your nationality, because it's very important to us, especially for me, of a woman of, I look white, but I come from a background of color, and my parents are Middle Eastern. So how did watching you, that made me feel like, wow, I can relate. So talk to us about that, where you come from, and how much you incorporated that, growing up in pageants,
Yes. As an African American Latina woman, I think that just being, I am a firm believer that knowing that you can fill spaces and have a seat at the table, and that your voice is not only heard, but it's valued, that to me is what makes, chasing your dreams worthwhile, and being a source of representation for other people and hoping to uplift them in their pursuits. I had the chance while at West Point to be a part of a program called Elevation, where the core message was to uplift high potential minority cadets who show such great potential to do so many great things and maybe just need that extra push of encouragement. And doing that and being a part of that in a community is what makes, opportunities blossom and grow and flourish, because you're being watered and you're being, you know, nurtured by a group of people who want to see you succeed. And I think that when you see people who look like you in places that you want to occupy, that fuels the fire a little bit more for you. And that sparks a couple more flames in the inferno. And then all of a sudden you're taken off. So I think that, being a source of representation truly is an honor and a privilege, but I do think that I'm standing on the shoulders of giants. I would not be here if it were not for young women and leaders who have paved the way for me. I know for sure that West Point women have paved the way for me. There are incredible people out there who have dedicated themselves to service time and time again. And I know that they have laid the foundation for where I stand. And I hope to continue to build a path forward.
I love that. That's so inspirational. you know, we like to give our audience, especially like inspiration, knowing that a lot of the guests on the show didn't have it always so great, right? You had to work really hard to get to this point of being Miss USA. Any stories you can share with us for Hope that maybe some people along the way were discriminating, or you felt bad, or were not nice, or did put you down and said, you're never going to win, you're never going to do this? I mean, what do you tell, like, how do you feel now, and what do we tell those people when we want to achieve our dreams, you know?
I remember telling people, one day I really want to compete at Miss USA, or one day or hey, I think I want to go to West Point after having competed in Miss Michigan Teen USA when I was younger. And people, laughing or thinking there's no way that I could ever see you, one, going to West Point, but two, even finishing, not even doing well, just finishing. And I thought, okay, watch me. So I think that I'm the type of person that when I see a challenge, I don't run away from it. I run towards it, and I try to welcome it with an open mind and a calloused mind, one that understands that I've overcome adversities before, and that with that in the core of my heart, my work ethic will drive me forward past these tribulations that I may be facing. I think that whatever it is that someone is looking to do, whether they're the first, the only, they can forge a path for themselves and build one for others to follow after them. Again, if you can see me, you can be me. And at the core of my message, it is that if you demand excellence in yourself, success truly is accessible to all.
I love that. Any other jobs that you've been working on? I know, even have you been modeling before that? Were you doing I know you were doing some charity work and stuff. Talk to us about some of the charities, organizations you've worked with and that you're passionate about. And
Yes.
also other, like, I'm sure jobs that you've been passionate about that have set you up for this.
Yes, working with Forgotten Harvest in Michigan, which is a farm that truly at the core of its message wants to bring, again, healthy, fresh produce to families across the state of Michigan. They constantly are, harvesting the fruit that they are growing on their land to then give out and give to homeless shelters and places like soup kitchens to give people the opportunity to find meals for themselves that aren't just from a box or a can, because food truly is the root of community. When you bring family in together, people come into town, what do you do for them? You cook them a home cooked meal, and you take pride in that. And so to me, fostering community through healthy, nutritious foods, that is something that connects us. And every single day, people, the one thing we do every day is we share meals with each other. And so what better way to do that than to take the foods and the produce that's harvested at Forgotten Harvest and share it with people who truly, truly need it. They're an organization that I'm really passionate about, Feeding America, working with them. And again, just hoping to be a force for good within that organization, because 44 million people across the country suffer with food insecurity. In Michigan, 11.7% of Michiganders suffer with food insecurity. And I think that really it's just about tackling this challenge across the globe. This is something that every single state across the country faces. Every county in this country faces food insecurity, regardless of the median income in that county. So this is something that truly is affecting a lot of people. And if there's any way that I can use this platform to bring awareness to it and to advocate for it, I'm going to do that.
I love that. Talk to us a little bit about the outfits that you got to wear on Miss USA last night, which was incredible because we live for the fashion as well.
I
Who styled
know.
you, or how does that go, or how do you go about picking, your outfits?
Well, Henry's Cloud9, they were my official gown sponsor through the state of Michigan, and I had Giovanni custom make my
Love
gown. And I
Giovanni. Oh my God,
think
I
to
love them.
myself, like, 15-year-old me would have loved this for prom. Like, this is
Right.
every girl's dream. Like, you get to just basically be Barbie for a day and pick a gown that you may have always wanted to wear and rock it on stage with 50 other incredible women. I mean, we were backstage going like, hi Barbie, hey Barbie, because it really feels like that. Everyone is dressed to the nines in their own personal style and reflecting at their core what they want to show on that stage and what accentuates them best. Another thing was being sponsored by Heat Swimwear. We got to wear their swimsuits on stage, which was super exciting. Everyone looked so good. We kept saying that the cameras were better than our eyesight because everyone looked flawless on stage. I would look at the camera and then I'd see myself on the TV underneath it. And I was like, I don't remember any other time in my life I have looked this good.
Yeah.
And the same went when I went backstage and I got to see Colorado, Iowa, DC. Every single young woman looked absolutely incredible. And yeah, I mean, swimwear, evening gown, and of course, the opening number gowns by Sherry Hill were so, so beautiful. They radiated on that stage. Every single person's color fit their skin tone so perfectly. It was just, I will remember that last night for the rest of my life for sure.
That's amazing. You looked incredible. All the women looked incredible. I was like feeling, I'm like, this is where I have to be. I feel too insecure being on the stage in comedy with a sweatshirt and sweatpants because it's really important. I think the message too is to constantly and always, when you take care of yourself, it's part of loving yourself. And, you know, I want to know your tips on what you go through in terms of mental health, but also loving yourself. Like, what do you do for you, you know, to make sure you're up to par and you can be focused and you can be loving and, you know, nurturing like you have been, but you also have to take care of yourself, right? So
Yes.
that's hard.
Yes. Well, I'm incredibly grateful for the support system I have. I mean, people who I haven't even met in real life, but have followed my story and have offered love and support in their journey through the Miss USA organization. They have been cores. It been a part of my core and foundation in the support that I feel throughout this journey, and knowing that I am not alone, that there are people who love me and support me and are here for me every single step of the way. And that to me means the world. I mean, there is something to be said about chasing your dreams, but chasing your dreams with a support system like no other is an undescribable feeling, truly. I know that I would not have been able to take this leap into even competing in this organization if it were not for my core support system, friends, family, my boyfriend, support online, just so many amazing people who either connect with my story or want to share my story with their daughters or their niece. It all means so much. And I truly read every single message that I get because it is so inspiring and so impactful on me to continue on with what I'm doing. But in terms of knowing when to take breaks, I mean, it is really important to me that I stay strong in my message of service and I do not waver in that. And I want to make sure that I am at the best of my abilities, physically, mentally, and spiritually, to be able to do that to the best of my abilities. So that will be something that I maintain throughout with my village and my support system.
What do you think it takes for us as women to progress even further, right? To have more equal rights, to more equal respect, and, you know, just not have this stigma on what's, you know, with women in society, you know, that men run the world. What do you think we need to do?
Well, I'm a firm believer that, women are empowered. I saw 51 incredible, empowered women on that stage last night. I want to see women in positions of power. And I think that we are seeing that. Again, there were entrepreneurs, business owners, scholars, academics. I mean, the range, the depth and breadth of people on that stage last night, I highly encourage people to read every single bio from that stage because the women are amazing. And if you need inspiration, please go and find these women on social media because each and every single one of them are incredible. I truly think that through community, through building bonds and breaking down barriers, bridging gaps, that is the way that we find ourselves in these spaces to then overcome adversities that we face. And then once there and we find our seat at the table, speak up and use our voice to use our personal experiences and stories to make change. I think that fundamentally is at the core of what, women empowerment is about. And I really hope that through my reign, I can continue to share a message of service with so many people.
So don't be afraid to speak up, ladies. We
Yes.
really,
Yes,
sometimes
you
we're
got this.
scared to ask for what we want. Any tips on how to ask it in a, I guess, polite way? Because sometimes when you ask, right, what you want, even if it's polite, people seem to say you're difficult, not you, but women, or, you know, we're asking for too much. Any way that we can learn maybe from you? You seem to have some boundaries, but also can ask, you know, for respect as well. Any like a tip or two that we can.
I mean, I ultimately would just say, at the end of the day, you are the only you. And that's all that you can offer is just being so true to yourself. And at times when you truly feel like the only, you truly feel like there is no one else
Yeah.
who is on this path with you, that you are on not so taken trail. I think that is when you have to look into your core and see, you know, why am I here? What is my purpose? And focus on that, answer that question for yourself, and that will push you through any adversity you face.
That's a great answer. We're moving forward now to your boyfriend, speaking about support, who's been so super supportive, which is amazing because we talk about dating on Chanel in the City. And we incorporate that with everyone's lifestyle of how do you, so, you know, you got to pick the right partner, especially in a career like this, to be supportive. How important was it for you to be with someone who was supportive of of this journey, you know?
Well, my boyfriend, he just has always been my number one fan. I feel like I remember I told him about a month before I decided to compete for Miss Michigan. I just on the whim was like, yeah, really one day I really want to compete at Miss USA. I think that's always been a dream of mine. It's been on my vision board. And yeah, that's something I've always really wanted to do. And he was like, oh my gosh, that is amazing. And I was like, thank you. So then about a month later, I was getting ready to cheer at a basketball game at Stanford because I was a cheerleader last year. And I called him and I was like, I made a decision today and I wanted to share with you after the game, but I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to compete. And the pageant is in like 2.5 months, but I'm going to do this. And he was like, we got this. When do we start? What do you need me to do? And I think that when you find people in your life, friends, partners, family, who are with you through the good, the bad, the ugly, but every single time know you at your core and know what your purpose is, know where your heart is, that is an indescribable feeling. Again, I'll go back to saying it that it's one thing to chase your dreams, but it's one thing to chase your dreams with what feels like an army of a support system.
Yeah.
And I can only hope that I can be a source of inspiration for other people to truly go after whatever it is they're passionate about.
I love it. You're very inspirational. I mean, I think every woman should hear this because a lot of times people they come and ask us. I'm no guru on dating because I can barely keep a man, which I'm trying to learn from you, but it's hard. It's hard to date and a lot of men aren't supportive or a lot of men want to dim your light. So I think you're a good example to show women that you can pick a partner that will be supportive and not intimidated by your success and push you to be a better person and a better Miss USA, right? Because
Yes.
together you can be better.
And I truly believe that when we light someone else's candle, it doesn't make ours any dimmer. It makes the room brighter. And because of that, that truly is what, again, I go back to being on that stage with 50 incredible delegates, all from their respective states, shining their light. And we never once dimmed anyone's light, but that room shined incredibly bright for sure.
See, that's amazing because I don't think we should put people down. You're right. And you're an example for it. It's like you don't have to put people down in order to be a star. And you won fair and square with putting all your, you know, colleagues up and inspiring them and supporting them and being vulnerable and even saying, hey, it takes an army, it takes a village. It's not just me. So that's why we thank you for the vulnerability. It's just being real, I think. And then when somebody's real, you can actually relate to them and buy into it even more. You know what I mean? Of what they want to do for the world.
Mhm.
What's your thoughts on, without getting too into politics and too deep, but what's your thoughts on what's going on in the world and any tips on how we can create more peaceful environments with within when it comes to diversity?
I truly believe that the ability to create dialogue and to have tough conversations about things that we are all thinking about is what is necessary to provide unity and to provide an opportunity for people to find hope and to find dialogue that is encouraging and inspiring for one another. Because at the end of the day, we are all people, and there is something to be said about going through this experience of life alongside people that you care about, alongside people that you love. And that truly should be at our core is dialogue, even though it may be difficult, but dialogue is very important. And I think that's the best step forward when thinking about paths for this country.
Great answer. I love that. That's very rational answer instead of fighting. We don't like to fight. We love peace. Who is one pageant? Well, who I guess throughout the years of Miss USA, who is somebody you looked up to
Yes.
that you want to talk about that you were very like, oh my God, this is such a great moment. I just would love to call her, or yeah, talk to us about a Miss USA.
Deshauna Barber, when she won Miss USA, she became the first service member to win the title of Miss USA. And I was going into my junior year of high school when she won, and I was thinking about applying to West Point. And I just thought to myself, oh my goodness, this is amazing. Like, again, I have this dream of being on the stage, but this woman just showed me that it is possible to be in the army and win this title. And while I may never see another young woman emulate this so niche of an example of what I'm trying to do ever again, I need to hold on to this. This is so inspiring. And so I follow her. She's a motivational speaker, and I just love her message. And I truly have found so much inspiration in it. And in times when things were really difficult, or when I was thinking, maybe this is just a crazy path. This is nuts. Maybe people are right. This is crazy. No one's ever done this before. Da 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 da. I would look to her videos and I would say, if she did this, then I can find hope and inspiration in it and carry on to the path that I am truly passionate about, which is to put service at the forefront of this platform and this opportunity. So for me, my biggest just like fangirl moment for a Miss USA would have to be Deshauna Barber for sure.
Love that. That's awesome. She's awesome. She really
She
is awesome.
is. She is.
Any Miss USAs that have reached out to you that was really cool, or give you
Yes.
advice that you want to talk about?
Noelia Boyd, I mean, just such a gem of an individual. Uma Sophia has reached out to me, just very kind women who also are a part of this and a part of this journey. I mean, I am so grateful for the love and the outpouring of support that they have showed. And I know that as Miss USA, I'm going to continue as a pillar of service for this organization and be eager to serve and willing to lead.
I love that. We'll wrap up in a few. I was just a couple of rapid fire questions. What would you say was your prep process? I know people get nerves. How do you calm yourself down mentally? How do you prepare before each set you're going on stage with each costume?
Yes. Yes. I would say I like to dance.
Yeah.
Even if I'm dancing poorly, I will still dance. Even if it's just a little two-step in line or something, or a little
Yes,
snap of my
girl.
fingers. And it was so fun being backstage. And there was one gentleman who would play music on a mic, a little boombox. It was like one attached to his pocket.
Yeah.
And before we went on stage for finals, he was playing every like dance song you could think of. And we were just backstage clapping and jamming. And then we had like a little dance circle. And then you'd see like Kentucky get in the dance circle. And then you'd see like someone else get in the dance circle. And you're like, oh my gosh. And then they're like 30 seconds. You're like, oh my gosh. So you start dancing a little bit more. I really just think that dancing for me is the best way to get the nerves out, to remember that I am a human being and that, this is just a part of the human experience. I'm just going to go out there, be myself, and take this energy with me. I think that was really special to share with all of the women backstage. And yeah, that's for sure definitely how I get the nerves out, I would say.
I love that. And speaking of validation, I know you spoke about a little bit in your speech of getting more validation from yourself as opposed to others. Do you feel that helps you stay strong? And how do you, any tips you can share with us in the audience of like how to not, I guess, always people please, but trust your intuition, trust who you are as a human?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that the learning to know yourself and going through challenges, I think, is the best way to know yourself. That's how you build your character, is by finding times when you're like, man, this is really hard. And how am I going to respond to it? Those are the moments that you build your character. And those are the moments that you truly show what you are made of and what you stand for. And I think that, to me, being challenged at West Point, being challenged at Stanford, those are times where I've forged my character. And that's what I rely on in my work ethic and my integrity. And and what I want to do. And I think that, in times when you do have moments of self-doubt, or you're thinking to yourself, oh, well, maybe I can't do this, or I've never seen someone do this before, just relying on the fact that you have overcome challenging things before, people before you have overcome challenging things before. And again, you are the only version of you. So own that to the fullest extent and lean into that, because that truly is what makes you beautiful.
See, you heard it here first, everyone, from Miss USA herself. That's true. Amen to that. Any celebrities along the way? Because I know there's a bunch of celebrities that love watching Miss USA. They're obsessed with
Yes.
it. Anyone you've met that you want to share like an experience with that was cool with you?
I I taking a photo with Patrick Ta was unreal. I thought to myself, oh my gosh, like I fangirl at Sephora when I see like the new products that are out. And then you are here in real life seeing, like I was like, whoa, this is a dream.
That's
People
awesome.
people that I am fangirling over as well, in preparation for Miss USA, are the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders.
Damn. Yes,
I
they're
I watched the series as I was getting ready for Miss USA. I mean, it came out at the perfect time. I was like rooting for Reese, and then I was rooting for Charlie, and then I was just so invested in these women, their stories, because I found a lot of similarities to the pageant world and seeing women chase their dreams, move across the country to chase their dreams, and only come down to 36 women, and then to stand on stage with 51. I mean, there were so many similarities that I found throughout watching that series. And oh my goodness, I just was like, okay, if they can dance in that big stadium, I can walk on that stage. So yeah, for
I love
sure.
that. And you cheered too yourself. I mean, how was that
I did.
experience being a cheerleader? You said
I cheered.
similarities. Talk to us a
Yes,
little bit
I
about
cheered
that.
for 1 year at Stanford,
Mhm.
during my first year as a graduate student, and I just had a blast. I really felt like being in a place where, I've never cheered before in my life, but again, I had this dream of ever since I was a little girl, I wanted to be a cheerleader from watching the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders. And I thought, what better a time to do it than, at a university with so much spirit and pride and such a big, beautiful community, and getting that opportunity as a graduate student was so much fun and so neat, because I am committed to being a lifelong learner. I think that, I never want to be the smartest person in the room. I always want to learn. I always want to learn. I always want to grow. And I definitely learned and grew a ton being on the cheer team, having never cheered before, maybe taking a couple dance classes when I was younger. And like I did gymnastics for 1 year, but I couldn't climb the rope at that time. So I was like, oh, I just can't be a gymnast. I can't be Simone Biles. Um, but yeah, I really enjoyed being a cheerleader and just being a part of just the Stanford spirit and community.
I love that. It's funny because in terms of doing all this, it's a lot of work. You know, what do you want to say to women out there? Can you be it all? Can you be beautiful? Can you be sexy? Can you be
Yes.
smart? Can you do work?
If anything, I really mean that, anything, because I just think about what it would mean to me to see anyone
Mhm.
who is committed to so many different passions in their life and wanting to uplift voices and uplift marginalized populations. I wish I had a similar role model to that growing up. And there have been times when I've doubted this experience and my dreams, because, no one's had all these different paths and roads and turns. But I like to say that this dream has been delayed but never denied, and that whatever it is that you are dreaming of, or a passion project or a business you plan on starting, whatever that may be, you can do it, because your circumstances never define your destiny, for one, and two, success is always accessible when you demand excellence of yourself.
Love that. Have there any been low moments last night where you thought it might, maybe someone might not come out of it great or cope with it great, that you were like, oh, thank God, like the Steve Harvey moment, but that thank God didn't happen last
Yeah.
night because they
Yeah.
hired a woman to host. But Garcelle
Oh
was
my
on top
goodness.
of her game. She really was.
No, okay, one thing we did say, all of the contestants were saying, were that the hosts of the show were amazing. I was like, I feel like I'm watching the show, but I'm in the show.
Right,
Like,
right.
what is going on? I think that when I know years from now, when I look back at this experience, this journey, and it all starting last night, that I will reflect on the fact that I just had so much fun. And at the end of the day, whether I won or lost, I was going to walk away saying, I've made so many great friends and that I truly had a blast. And just seeing, I mean, I can't truly describe what it felt like to just look into the monitor, see a red light on, and know that I was being broadcast to so many homes, and knowing that, I mean, my volleyball coaches from high school, their young daughters were watching. It just, filled my heart with so much joy to know that young girls all across the country, all across the globe, saw so many different diverse women with incredible stories. And I hope that, you know, they can find inspiration in that and just go into their Monday, go into their week, knowing that whatever dream they're looking to chase, it is possible.
That's really important, is about having fun. And I think we forget that and lose sight of that. And I think that's the secret. Everyone wants to ask, how do I make it in the industry? And it's really about having fun and letting go. And that's where your personality shines. And we saw it
Yes.
last night, you know?
Oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate that.
Yeah. I mean, it's important, right? Personality in these pageants is important. Being kind, being a team player, right? That's all that goes a long way.
For sure.
I love that. Anything else you want to share with us? Like how it's changed since last night? Like, did you think your whole life would change overnight like Cinderella? Like what's going on
I
now?
I remember thinking when I like being backstage and speaking with different media and taking photos, I just thought people kept asking me, do you believe it? Is it real? And I was like, I need to watch it. Like I need to physically see it because I feel like this is a dress rehearsal. There's no way that this all happened in the past hour. And I just remember getting back to my phone and just seeing so many text messages and photos and videos and just sweet, kind messages from people. And that to me, I mean, even before going into the competition, just people giving me so much love, family, friends, classmates, um, just so much joy. I just think, you know, being on that stage and with Connor Perry, Miss Kentucky, incredible person. I remember knowing and hugging her and just thinking no one else in the world feels this moment like we do. And everyone's at the edge of our seat, but there's just some unique energy being in, you know, standing on that blue X and just us two there. And I just really wanted to relish in that because it truly is a celebration of every single person's story on that stage and every single person who's dreaming to hopefully be on that stage someday too.
Did anyone's story stand out to you? Like a specific story that you were like, you know what? Even though I'm gonna win, I love her story. No, I'm just kidding. But
Yes.
yeah, that you
Yes. Well, Connor Perry is a professional dancer. And I was like, I'm doing like the two-step backstage. I'm like, she can dance, like she can dance. And she just has such a kind heart. And I think that her energy and the way she just lights up the stage, lit up the room, it was just so beautiful to see backstage. Myself, Connor Perry, Noni, Miss Pennsylvania, and then Miss Ohio, Macy Hudson. All four of us are sister queens. We're from the same directorship. So we all have been on this journey together. Miss Pennsylvania was my roommate. And I remember every time I would see her walk on stage during rehearsal, I would always yell, "That's my roommate."
That's
So
incredible.
when
How do you not get jealous? Like, I mean, this is a silly question, but there's so much jealousy. How that's incredible and so encouraging to me. How do you, because knowing that you might not win, but you're competing and you're sharing rooms, how do you go through that? You just say, oh, this is
you
my
just say, you know what? We're in this together. No
together.
one else can feel that moment like you do when you're on that stage. And it truly takes courage to stand on that stage, walk across in an evening gown, in high heels, in a swimsuit and high heels, and present yourself with confidence, with your head held high, knowing that you are there, you're in the moment, and you are truly leaning into who you are and what you are made of. And so it is not hard at all to celebrate people and especially women, sisters who are standing alongside each other and chasing the same dream.
That's incredible. We need to learn from that. I hope the audience is really listening in to understand um what we need to do to be there for each other. You can win, you can lose. there's no point of being jealous because at the end of the day, there's karma that comes around and you will get your moment. And look at
Yes.
this is an
Every
example. You got what you wanted because you were always happy for people and a team player and you worked hard, so
Thank you so much. I really
that,
appreciate that.
that goes a long way. You said you were a graduate, Stanford. What did you go to school for people who want to know more of your background for your studies and
Yes.
your
I
degree?
currently am a graduate student at Stanford. So I just finished my first year and I'm going into my second year of grad school, earning my master's in data science through the Knight Hennessy Scholarship Program. At West Point, I earned my bachelor's in mathematical science.
Wow, so we really all have no excuse to not, because so many people are like, I just want to make it and I want to get this and I want to get that, but I don't want to work for it. And then I see you and you're like getting your graduate degree and your Miss USA. So we don't have any excuses anymore.
Yes, anyone and everyone can do it. I am just a firm believer in that. And I just think there's so many women on that stage who truly represent that.
We have one fan who's asking, Dolores from Ohio. She wants to know age. First of all, she says, congratulations. You're one of my favorite people in the world. Congratulations on winning Miss USA. I think you're going to do great for our country. What do you think about ageism with women when it comes to women? And does it play a role in the pageant industry?
Yes. Well, Miss Maryland, her motto is beauty has no expiration date. And I am a firm believer in that. Miss Arizona, incredible woman. I met her when I was getting my evening gown design, and her light shined so bright because the women on that stage show that regardless of your age, regardless of your background, you can chase your dreams. And the fact that they lifted the age limit and are now allowing anyone, any young woman who wants to chase their dream to chase it, I think that that is just so, so beautiful.
I love that. What about, and then we got Janet. We got one more question. Janet from, sorry, Virginia is asking social media. How does social media play a big part, or does it play a big part in Miss USA?
I think that for me, when I think about social media, I want to use it as a place to cultivate a community of excellence, a community and a culture of excellence where people feel celebrated, people feel welcomed, and that throughout my journey, I want to take people alongside with me. Social media shouldn't just be a highlight reel. It should be everything, all the bits in between. And I think that with service at the forefront of my heart, I'm so eager and excited to be able to share different opportunities and things that come about throughout this journey, because it truly is bigger than myself. And if there's any way that I can continue to share my message through social media and be able to truly show that if you can see me, you can be me.
I love that. What are your thoughts on Kamala Harris being a woman running for president for our country, which is kind of a big deal because we have never had that? How do you feel about it? And would you love to work with her someday within service?
I would love to meet her. I think that would be incredible. I mean, I
Mm.
very briefly met her. She was the commencement speaker at West Point my graduating year. So I have a photo from my mentor on stage where I'm saluting the Vice President of the United States, Vice President Kamala Harris. That photo means so much to me. It gives me goosebumps just right now thinking of it, because it just means so much, regardless of your political views or anything
Right.
political, that you see someone who is representing so much for this country, is truly inspiring and incredible.
I love that. Do you think we're going to see any acting gigs from you or anything else in the entertainment industry coming from
You
you?
know, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see
I
what
think
I
so.
see going through. I mean, I'm just taking in every moment one bit at a time and just so, so grateful.
Well, we're wishing you a big congratulations. Miss USA, we love you. We're inspired by you. Where can everybody follow you and tune in if you have a website to plug in, social media, and any of the charities that we can donate or actually get involved in with you?
Feeding America, please. There's a link in my bio, Alma.Cooper. Feeding America is linked in my link tree. And then also Miss USA, follow my journey on there as well.
I love that. And we're going to stay tuned. We're going to have you back on too, God willing, and we're going to stay tuned on all your progress and anything you want to, promote. We really thank you for inspiring us and taking the time to be here.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.